Good morning, everyone. It is Saturday with Shala, and we have exciting topic to talk about today. And yeah, it's been radically hitting us in the forefront in both our personal lives as well as with the blue moon, and then with the paradigm in which I'm talking about in February for my own business on radical honesty. She's giving you a sneak peek with the mug. Life isn't about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself.
Creating yourself. Yeah.
So with that, how do honesty and creation go hand in hand? How has it impacted your personal life, Shala? Because you've had a lot of spiritual awakenings and just business progressions and self-evolution. So what's your personal story around this?
Around creation and honesty. A big part of my story, at least recently in the last, say, year and a half or so, has been finances. I was the kind of person that, had the energy and also the mentality of I don't want money to touch me. Like, just, you can go around me. Like, I don't even want to see it. Like, if it's in my bank, I'm going to ignore it. I know it's there, but but in the last year and a half, that drastically shifted. I became radically honest with myself about how I was.
Sorry. Keep going.
See, I feel better already. Oh, are we back online now?
Yep.
Because it's okay. But I became radically honest about my relationship with money and my relationship with my finances, and just like how I would get a pit in my stomach anytime anyone would bring up finances, specifically, especially like how my finances were going. And so when I finally faced that and became honest with where my finances were at, where's my credit score at, where is my debt at, I had no idea. I just knew I had debt. I didn't know how much I needed to pay off, or I paid my bills. I did that. I was like, all right, credit card paid, bills paid. That's all I need to do in life. But then when I became honest with that, that shifted everything for me. Last year alone, since that, last year alone, $1,000 in debt, and my credit score has gone up. I think it's something like 89 points in 1 year. So if I can do it, anyone can do it. It's not easy, but being able to create now I'm on the upswing. I've got a little bit of debt left, and this year alone I'll be debt free, and then everything I make will just be into savings, and I can keep it. And that's a big turnaround.
Well,
for anyone.
It is. And I think a thing that we sometimes fail to forget, especially when we are going through the everyday grind, and that's what I loved about this recent blue moon. It was all about having and allowing a major shift in your life to happen. The concept of a breakthrough occurring, whether it's mentally, emotionally, spiritually, intellectually, socially, physically, and to not doubt it, but to claim it, right? And one of the beautiful things then is I'm like, oh, fantastic. And then the paradigm of radical honesty, because we are always winning the game we are playing, people. We are always winning the game we are playing. And that doesn't mean that your game is bad. It doesn't mean that it needs to change. It's a matter of, is it the game you want to be playing? and
Exactly.
knowing that you can change that. It can shift at any point in time. And with coaching, you know, I love the fact that my calendar, then I flip it and it tells me the greatest good that you can do for another is to not just share your riches, but to reveal to him his own. And that's what Shala and I are here to do for you folks. We are here to hold space and help allow you to get radically transparent and honest with who you're being and allow more to come in creating. Because as I talked about in my my video last week, is when we are not creating, we are choosing to be a victim of something. And whether that is energy from the people we surround ourselves with, whether it's a victim of a belief we have or doubt we have or judgment we have, honesty is key. Like before we got on, Shala had asked me the question, why is honesty so important to creation?
Mm-hmm.
And I love that because when we are not honest, it's about where is your come from. You can create anything you want to create, but when you're being radically honest, you are coming from a grounded sense of dedication and motivation that is true to who you are. And unless you're being radically honest.
So when we're talking about,
Go ahead.
I was going to say that what we're talking about with honesty is not necessarily honesty with other people, while I'm a big advocate of that. What we're talking about here is the honesty with yourself and how important it is to know that the things that you're telling yourself are the things that are true to you. You can feel it down to your very core that it is a part of you and it isn't just a story you're telling yourself.
And it's funny because what we resist will always persist. Like that's the concept. That's the way life works. It's kind of like attitude of gratitude. You always want to have that. But what you resist will often persist. So that can also be applied in the concept of, why are you making shit harder than it needs to be? It's going to persist.
Mm-hmm.
Like, be true to who you are, know your why, know where you're coming from, and be okay with that changing as you evolve, right? With being radically honest, for me as well, like finances have been a big thing in like the last month. Like I had to, like, it's so funny how money, it just pisses me off. A, it pisses me off, but B, how much control it has over us. So when because it allows us to do what we need. So a lot of us have underlying stressors around money. We don't even like to talk about it, let alone like admit how much we have, or like, and it's something you really need to get over and be upfront with. So I had a call with my financial advisor. I have an action step set in place to help me alleviate some of the debt I've accrued after being unemployed last year. I've also looked into getting myself a coach, like hiring an actual coach. And it's just so important to be radically honest with where you're at in your life right now and what you want to be creating, and claim it already. And if you can't, I guess, what are a few questions you have for takeaways, Shala, that can help people further this concept or understanding, to help them with experiencing an awakening? Because you're like the awakening mistress.
I prefer Enchantress, but whatever. I guess when it comes to an awakening, regardless of whether that's spiritual or financial or whatever it is that's going on in your life, the way we do one thing is the way we do everything. So if you're experiencing an awakening in one area, it's going to happen in all the others. It'll domino. Um, the biggest thing is really what your mug says. Just breathe. Know that you're gonna get triggered so hard that sometimes all you can do is just breathe.
Why is
And
breathing important?
because it's our basic building block of life. In case you didn't know that. Like, we breathe so that we live.
Breath
But
and
there's
water, people.
but there's but there's so much, of course, philosophically and spiritually, you can get in so much deeper to breath. um, I just don't want to go into that right now, but I feel like that's another topic entirely. um, but other than breathing, I would say know that it's okay not to be okay. I say that a lot because I feel that it's really true, and I feel that we don't hear it enough. It is completely okay to not be okay. And when you're going through an awakening, you have to hear that. You have to tell yourself that over and over and over again. Because sometimes an awakening feels horrible. It feels horrible. And then other times it feels like you reached a mountaintop and, the clouds parted and the light is shining on you. So either way, however way it's showing up for you, it's okay. It's the way it's supposed to be. And it's so important to find support during this time, and people that are non-judgmental in their support.
Yeah, it's often the closest people in which we feel we should go to, our families, that sometimes are not the wisest people in situations along the road. I've noticed with my own personal, and I love my family dearly. There's just other people that sometimes I know I should go to instead of them, based on the energy and space in which will be held for me to be authentically me. Um, so my parting question for you is, for anyone watching, is in the concept of honesty or creating. Where is one area of your life that you would like to be experiencing something more of? And by that I mean either seeing more or feeling more or showing up as more, really get clear on where in life is it kind of dark. And then once you figure out that area, what are two things, honestly, what are two actions that you can control that will help light a candle in that area of your life?
So for me personally,
What are
or is
yours?
this what
That's
are
just in
mine?
general. Yeah, that's what I want people to really start thinking about. If you were to suggest a final parting question, what would yours be?
Hmm. Put me on the spot. um, I guess a parting question would be, how can you have fun doing this?
Oh, I love that. That's a good one. Yeah, like how
Because
can you make it
you're
fun?
not gonna follow through with anything that you're not having fun with.
I love it.
Whether that's exercise or food or making new friends or getting out of your comfort zone. If you're not having fun, you're not going to keep on doing it. And the point
Motivation,
is to
dedication.
continue on this
Mm,
journey, which is why we're being honest, so we can have that perseverance to continue. But be honest with yourself. Am I going to really enjoy this?
true.
So,
Well, and that comes back to just understanding and knowing your why.
mhm.
That's a whole nother topic too, so we will not get into that. But honesty, creation, it can happen whenever you allow it to, whenever
Mhm.
you choose to. Um, and that's all I got. Do you have anything else?
I think in the future we should definitely maybe talk about breath and maybe talk about our why, because we brought it up a few times, and if you're not in coaching, you've never been coached, you may not understand what that phrase means, and that's a big part of what coaching helps you do. It's what we help uncover for our clients. So
Your why and the breath.
why and breath. So look for those in the future. We're going to bring them. We're going to bring them.
All right. Cheers, folks. Thanks for watching.
Mwah.